us to order. And this is a Board of Selectmen. We on? Board of Selectmen's meeting for Wednesday, November 7th, 2018. Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And we've got an agenda. And second. And I'm going to make a motion to approve the agenda as written. Can I get a second?
Second.
Sue. And any changes? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
And we have minutes for October 17th, 2018. I'm going to make a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of October 17th, 2018, as written. Can I get a second? Any discussion or corrections?
I do not see any.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Correspondence. You'll see a note here from Ernest Beckwith. Says, "Hi Emmett, my wife and I have gotten to know Lisa Conroy over the last few months since we have become regulars at Park and Rec pickleball at the town offices gym. It's supposed to be a lot of fun. She has been extremely supportive and responsive to all of us players. Pickleball is a great activity for seniors, keeping us physically active. We all love the sport and love Lisa. East Haven is fortunate to have her as the Park and Rec director. Regards, Ernie Beckwith." And I know Ernie, he's a great guy, and one of these days I'm going to get to play that myself, see what it's all about. And the first selectmen's report, not a whole lot here. A couple of things I wanted to comment upon. Eric, you've been asking about the Acting Road, and I've talked to Beth about it, I've driven it. I said, well, can we get moving on that, and can Consumers Reports give us a hand with it? And she said, we'll talk to the lawyer. I gave him a call, and he's preparing a hold harmless so that we can get permission to do it. He also indicated that we're going to have to get union permission because we're taking work away from union members. And so we're going to have their clearance before we can do it. Beth went on to indicate that right now there's one lane of questionable integrity open. There's a great deal of water out there. She feels that it's really not in any shape to be worked on yet. If two cars attempted to pass, one of them would certainly end up stuck. So we are staying on top of that, and we're having water, seems like every third day right now. And I don't know how soon it's going to dry out. She was also curious about what the source of stone for that, for the material to work on it might be. Whether she needs to get it together or if Consumer Report was going to provide it. So that's where we stand on that one. There's a question about reaching out to the state's Public Works Department. Beth has been in meetings with them. They are working right now trying to come together with a priority list and a plan. This is damaged and dead trees we're speaking of. Their indication is they don't have the resources. Eversource doesn't at this point have any resources available. And we've pretty well exhausted our resources for working on them. And we had a meeting this afternoon at COG, great deal of discussion about what the option might be, how they could help out, what they could do for us. Somebody was talking about acquiring some equipment so that we could use it on a loan lease basis from them. Get a bucket truck that the various towns could take out and actually use. That would mean training some staff for it. And so we're looking at it, trying to figure out how to do it. They had the gentleman from the forestry department there. He indicated the state has a count, a rough count of about 17,000 trees that they feel they're responsible for. So it's a mammoth item. With all the rain we've had and the washouts, we've not been focusing as heavily as we might on that, but it is there as an issue. The question that Mr. Blaszek raised about the two bridges on Route 82, and I'm very aware of those. They continue to tell us that they're going to be drivable, that the lights will be down for the two-way traffic this fall. They also indicate that it's going to be only the single layer of asphalt on it, so it'll be drivable. And my own opinion is that if you drive on that all winter with the snow and the salt and the sand and everything that goes on, you're going to have to rip it up and redo it completely next spring. So we're probably going to see them tied up again. The cornerstone, according to everybody we talked to on that, is that Eversource wasn't timely enough in moving the wires and relocating poles so that you continue with work. I can only repeat what I hear. Sue, you were looking for a copy of the RFP, and the East Haddam Revitalization Committee and Jimmy met actually last night. They're working on a final version, and there's a lot of flux going back and forth. Apparently the revitalization people feel it ought to be RFQ, and the opinion, in my opinion included, is it should be more of an RFP. So the exact design is still up in question. There is a rough draft available of that right now, but it isn't finished yet.
That's available for us to look at.
The rough draft is available, but it may or may not reflect what winds up being the final product. And Rob, you had were frustrated about the foundation issue with the bridge down there at Bone Mill Road. I was down there tonight. It's been dug out. They've got the iron, at least on one side, in place for casting the required additional supports. And when I asked about that, they said, well, the bridge was in place, the road was in place, and no one anticipated there was going to be any issue with it, and when they finally exposed it, there was. Should they have looked farther and more carefully at the beginning? Perhaps. But we have what we have. They are working on it. They do indicate that they anticipate having the bridge in place this fall. I took a look at it today, and I hope they're right.
Well, with the exception of the rear rod, which has been in place, the reinforcing wire, reinforcing rod and et cetera, and they had dug it out. It's basically the same as it was previously. So they're not moving very quickly on that.
I have to get it, Sue Tully is doing that, I believe.
Trade.
Oh, Trademark is doing that. Tully's the other bridge.
And so they don't even have it formed on the, on the,
Yeah.
way on the opposite side from the abutment,
Correct.
so. And the northwest side, they haven't started any work on it, yeah.
I'm questioning what they told me myself. I would agree with you. But I'm not an engineer. Okay, that's what I have. And we're opening it now for citizens' concerns. Do we have any? Yes.
I have, I was not at the last meeting, but I have here the information that you were looking for. I did not email it to you because I sent you 2 emails since the last 2 meetings and haven't responded to any of them. So I thought I'd just do a packet tonight, and that way there's no question on who received what. The first picture you're looking at is from Google Maps, and that was taken in 2011, and it shows that the road is perfectly straight. Mr. Curtin stated that there was a curve in the road and they had to take part of the property to correct the curve. You can see there is no curve. The second picture, also from Google Maps, and what is circled is a little green box, and there's no boundary pen. This was taken in 2011, and it shows the neighbor's fence. The next picture shows a boundary marker, and that picture was taken October 4th of this year. That's the boundary marker for the property. That was placed sometime between 2011 and 2018. The next picture you're looking at was taken on October 9th of this year as well, and it's a survey marker that shows where the stone wall was. The picture after that, which was taken October 4th of this year, shows remnants of the stone wall. And as you remember, Mr. Curtin said that all the stones were removed and nothing was left. It also shows the curbing and the road. If you go back to the picture that shows the boundary marker, if you go out to the property and look at it, the boundary marker lines up exactly with the pillars, which are set very far off the road. Then the next page is the original FOI request, which was in April of 2018, not December of 2017, and the wall was built in 2017, not 2015.
The wall or the piers?
The piers.
So who took all these pictures and where did they come from? So I know the Google Maps ones,
Yep.
because I've looked at this property myself.
I took the pictures from the road.
Okay. And so who took them one from,
I took all the pictures except for the Google Maps. And they're still on my phone, time and date stamped. And then the last email you'll see is from correspondence that I had with land use. And it's directly from him, and it says, actually, it's 25 feet from the center unless there's a stone wall, fence, or wire. And yes, the stone wall is usually split 50-50. On O'Connell, we only used what was ours.
okay,
So my question is, again, how did this take place with no correspondence, no information, nobody looking at it, and where's the checks and balance? When I asked what the checks and balance was, originally I was told the checks and balances, the 2 selectmen and the finance department. Well, it got by all of you guys.
I'm not sure what got by us. Explain.
$6,500 of taxpayer money was spent for pillars on our private property for a stone wall that clearly didn't need to be removed, and if it did, it belonged to the town. In exchange, there's no paperwork, no deed transfer, the town received nothing in writing. So what is to prevent this from happening again?
so I don't understand though, because, so this road today, this fence is right on the road now. That's how much land they took.
From that side. If you look at the pictures that I took from October of this year, you can see the curbing and how much land is left in the stone wall.
That's not, the stone wall was in front of those trees.
The stone wall,
The stone wall was the stone wall's gone now.
no, there's still part of it there. As of October 4th, part of it was still there. And there were survey markers in it.
I drove by the property the other day and I didn't see any stone wall. I don't know,
Maybe
maybe
the
there's a
leaves
hump
now,
of
maybe
stones
with the
or
leaves
something,
can't-
I don't know, but I didn't see any. I guess I won't get in conversation about
Let's
that.
not get into that.
Well, maybe with the leaves or something, but those were the pictures.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else? Harry?
You had mentioned that you had talked to the state about all the dead trees along the state roads. And they said that
Beth did, not
they don't have
Beth.
the resources to deal with them. So who takes liability now? I mean, we all know that they're gonna come down. I mean, if they start hitting cars and stuff, I mean, at this point, I guess I'm playing the devil's advocate. Who's gonna be liable when people start getting hurt?
There is liability involved. At COG today, we discussed that at great length, and this was all of the various the towns in this area. And we all have the same problem. The state has the same problem. And it's an overwhelming problem, no question about it. I mean, all trees that grow will eventually die.
Oh, yeah, we are, worried about that. The 17,000 is
We're
an
gonna see a
awful
lot more, a lot faster than we anticipated. When we can identify a tree that has any imminent issue, we take care of it right on the spot. And I'm not gonna argue with Barry, you're
Oh,
right.
no, I realize that, I'm just like,
And the
so
response.
they're walking away from it, or?
No. And there are towns that are doing that. They're just ignoring it. And it doesn't reduce reliability. The one thought that they did offer, and this is the State Forestry Department who was there, was that a priority list, a plan where you're really looking to address this issue and using as much resource as you have to do it and do it properly offers you some small protection from the liability. Not a lot. I'll tell you what, if it falls and lands on a car, it's going to be a big issue. We're going to do the best we can. And the state likewise.
Yeah. I'm not worried about the towns, I'm more concerned that the state statement.
I think we're all familiar with the state's issues, the money problems they have. And they are very conscious of what they're up against and very concerned about it, trying to work up a plan to deal with it. And we're all doing that. Eversource is doing it, they've exhausted all the money they have. The state has exhausted what they've got, we've exhausted what we have. And we're gonna have to look to our budgets as we come into next year and deal with it. You do have some small latitude with it. Oaks take a while to fall. The ashes, I think, are gonna be a bigger problem. They fall more quickly. We're conscious of that. And I think it's a major issue for everyone involved, and we're all looking for answers. We're probably as badly hit as anyone, although there are other towns that have whole forests. Canterbury, there's a whole forest area that's been wiped out. Now that's out in the woods and not gonna be as big a deal, not for cars. Hikers,